is take 5041. Hey guys, Horse Lover 478 here, and today I will be doing some equestrian pet peeves because it's a fun video that I thought you guys would enjoy. So let's get started. So the very first pet peeve that I have is when you go into the cross tie and you don't notice, but attached to one of the cross ties someone has left their halter. So the main reason that this annoys me is because my horse has stepped on them a couple times, and bless her heart, she just kind of stands there until I move it. But it's just annoying because then you have to take it off, your horse's foot could get caught in it, it's kind of a safety thing. I don't know, it's like when you go to the washroom and someone didn't replace the toilet paper roll. Kind of the same thing. My second pet peeve is when you're at a horse show and you're trying super hard not to get your beautiful tan or white pants dirty, and you've been super careful all day, and then you look down right before you ride and there's just a big stain on them or like a piece of mud or something. That is the absolute worst because I even wear like pants over my show pants, and once in a while I take them off right before I get on, so then there's no chance of them getting dirty. But in those like 10 seconds before I get on, somehow I usually manage to get like mud or dirt on me, and it's the worst because I have to kind of brush it off and do my best to make them clean again. But that is just the worst because you've tried so hard all day and all of your hard work has gone to waste. So this one is kind of related to the last one. Again, it's when you're at a horse show and your beautiful, beautiful white saddle pad gets a stain on it as well. And this especially sucks if it was your backup saddle pad because your regular one already has a stain on it and you have no choice but to kind of brush it off, do your best to make it clean again, and go into the ring. And I hate it because I feel super unprofessional when that happens to me. It's the worst because you can't do anything about it. My last pet peeve that happens like while you're at a show is when your horse rubs out a braid overnight. This hasn't happened to me per se, like Valerine's super good and she hasn't rubbed out any braids, but sometimes her forelock one gets crooked under her slinky, or like one just kind of starts to fall out throughout the day and I have to kind of tuck it back in. But I've had friends this has happened to, and it sucks because you don't notice until you go to groom and tack up your horse like 45 minutes before you ride, and then you have to rebraid, and it's just a little bit stressful. So another thing that really annoys me, it's kind of silly, but when your horse's hooves are really muddy and you have to pick them out and you can't hose them off because it's too cold outside, and at our barn we don't hose off any mud in the indoor wash rack because it can get clogged, but is when it's the worst when you have to pick up your horse's foot and it's really muddy, even when you put on gloves or whatever, and the gloves get dirty, and it's the worst. I just really hate mud, and right now it's super muddy, so most of our horses are inside and they take turns going out in the outdoor, and some horses are okay because we have a few big grass paddocks that aren't too muddy, but it's the worst and I hate it. And your boot gets when your boot gets sucked off in the mud and you have to like pull it out, that's what life is like right now here. This one has happened to me and it's really annoying. It's when you're trying to find a bit like the size that fits your horse. So Valerine's old bridle with her old owner had a 5.5 French link loose ring snaffle. So I go and buy the same bit. It's a different brand. I think the other brand of bit that was on her old bridle was from Europe or something, because I couldn't find it anywhere. So I go out and buy the next closest thing. It looks almost the exact same, but the 5.5 inch was too small. So I go out and buy a 6 inch, and that one is too large. So then I had to hunt everywhere for a 5 3/4 inch, and that one fits, but it just took me a couple weeks and was pretty annoying and very tedious, so that's awful. So luckily I don't wear these kinds of breeches anymore, but if anybody has the breeches with like the Velcro at the ankle, those are the worst because when you put your socks over them, the Velcro tends to fold up, and then when you put on your boots or your chaps, it rubs. That is the worst feeling in the world. And then when you put your socks under, it just feels wrong to me. I don't know, to have socks under my breeches instead of over them. I don't know, but I just hate the breeches with the Velcro at the ankle. They're just a pain in the butt, and they get caught on things, and then they get like fuzz in them, and then they don't stick, and then the little edge rolls, you know what I mean? Like the top part of the Velcro, the little corner there, it tends to roll over. It's just, I might like them, that's fine by me, I just don't personally like them. It doesn't really happen to me because I'm a dressage rider, and dressage shows you have your very specific ride times and you better be in the ring at that exact time, and if they're running ahead or behind they make sure to let you know, but generally things tend to stay like pretty to the minute. But at hunter jumper shows, a lot of the time. You don't know what time you're riding, which would be super annoying. I've done like schooling shows, hunter jumper shows, and when I didn't know what time I'd ride, I just had to stand around with my horse for a while, which isn't too fun, I guess. But last year I was at a show and I got there about 7:45 in the morning. And it had rained the day before, so they were moving all the hunter jumpers inside, and the dressage was still outside because they have a ring with the fancy footing that doesn't like get muddy or wet or anything. So I get to the barn and there's some girls doing cross rails. So all of us are like feeding, mucking out, all of that, because the cross rails start at 9. And then I kid you not, at 7:50 I think it was, about 5 minutes after I got there, over the intercom they say that they've moved cross rails to 8 o'clock. So these poor girls doing cross rails all had to rush to get their horses ready. Luckily there was a lot of us and it wasn't too big of a deal because they were pretty lenient because they changed it. But that would just, oh, that seems like it would be so stressful to me, not knowing exactly what time you ride. This one is pretty silly, but when you sweep every day, twice a day, okay, so when you're trying to sweep and there's mud or something wet, and the broom gets wet, and then you just start smudging dirt everywhere and it just starts making mud, that is the worst because you can get nothing done. And sometimes the brooms get ruined and then you're just smudging everything around. It's not fun, so you have to hunt to find a good broom. So yeah, that annoys me because I don't mind sweeping, I like it, but then when things go wrong, it's not a fun time. I'm sure every single equestrian has this pet peeve, but when you wash your horse and then you turn them out and they roll, I'm fine when they just roll, but when they find like mud or something to roll in and then they're just way dirtier than they were before, oh, that's the worst, especially if you have a gray horse. That would be super stressful because some of the grays at our barn, when they roll, they just turn like yellow and green and brown, and you just can't get it out because it stains them. Ugh, that's not fun. But my very last pet peeve happens to me sometimes when I ride. So sometimes when I ride, I notice something poking me in the thigh, and it's the buckle of my stirrup leather. And I pull it all the way up to the top, and it's still poking me, and I like move it around, I try and move it, but no matter what I do, it won't lay flat, and it just pokes into my thigh my entire ride, and it's the worst because I can't do anything about it, and it's just there all the time poking me and nagging me, and it's not a very fun time. So that was this week's video. I hope it wasn't too boring for you. Next week's video will be a tack up with me, so look forward to that. And that is all for this week. I will see you guys next time.